We are live. We are live. We are live. 25 to lifestyle, settings to thrive. They might be you. Etymology, cliches, and being a slave to rhetoric. You know what I find asinine? I find it asinine that people go out of their way to make a special effort to say grand rising and then still identify themselves as Black. I'm gonna get your take on that once we come back from this intro. 25 to lifestyle, Sent to Thrive. I am Rumbling Thunder. Special guest in the building, the Players Club Collective. That's right. We here live, 25 to lifestyle, Sentence to Thrive. Let's get into it, bro. So what are your thoughts?
Oh, man. I think too often we fall victim to misunderstanding labels. And, you know, as far as the Grand Rising thing goes, I feel like culture has a habit of taking a little bit of something and not really understanding the whole picture of what it represents and why. You know what I'm saying? We do a lot of, especially in woke culture, we had this thing where it's like, oh, these words become popular. Like the whole, what's the new word? Demeanor. I can't even say it. I just been seeing it on social media so much.
I was hoping you was going to touch. I was hoping we was going to get into that. We got into it super fast because I don't know what the fuck that is or what people talking about, and I'm not even sure that I want to know.
You know what I'm saying? So it'd be things like that where it's like we had this likelihood to take on the things that's, you know what I'm saying, just on the wave, on the ride. Everybody want to kind of keep up with what's cool, what the lingo is. You know what I'm saying? So it'd be stuff like that. So I don't know.
And that's what I mean when I say a slave to rhetoric. I can see that in our culture, we are intoxicated with trying to sound fucking cool. And because of it, we regurgitate a lot of buzzwords and phrases that is on like top of mind when it comes to the words that are in the everyday person's lexicon. And, you know, a lot of that is driven by the media when it comes to celebrities and athletes using certain words in their verbiage. And even like, you know, there's a clip online where you can see like the news broadcasters from all the different news stations across the United States, and they're all reading the same script. You know what I'm saying? So
I seen that clip. That shit was crazy.
You know, it's the word, you know, etymology is very interesting, right? And cliches are very interesting. And the reason why I love cliches is because when we're speaking English language, They have stood the test of time for a reason. They are very structured words that convey a very specific sentiment that can resonate on, like it resonates innately. You don't have to describe it, right? So we're talking about buzzwords and how things are presented, and even the media. Anything that you watch on television or the movies is developed via a script.
Facts.
So what are we really talking about? What do you think? What does that really mean? What are the implications of that? Everything that, especially is on a high-end commercial level, is driven by a script.
I think for me, it's just this idea that we like to believe that things aren't structured or things aren't ordered or aren't presented in a certain way when they are. Like, even when we get into like understanding words, and like one of the big things that was interesting to me when we get into like etymology and what's the not really numerology, but gematria, is understanding that a lot of these things and these concepts, like each letter at a certain point represented a deity or something, and these letters were put together when these deities or these elements of nature work together. And so once you understand some of those aspects and how words originally were built, and you start looking at some of these newer words and the scripts that's put together, you can see these pictures and plays that are in play, whether it's a word, whether it's a script, whether it's a movie.
No, that's facts, and that's why etymology is important, because literally you need to understand what you're saying. Spelling is a thing
through these scripts.
That part, man, that shit is, don't even get me started, bro, because that's what it's really all about. Is, man, don't even get me started. Woo, man. It's very intentional. Everything, like literally word by word, everything is very time oriented when you're talking about script writing. To be able to write even a script for a 30-second commercial is an art and a skill.
Yep.
Especially when you're talking about on a high-end level and what it means when it comes to the verbiage and the structure of that verbiage within that commercial.
Like, it'd be interesting to see how many people really understood the correlation between marketing and spells and occultism. Like, the way that these things are presented. You see what I'm saying? The colors that are used, the sounds, the frequencies, there's a lot that goes into that.
Man, slippery slope, my friend, because, right now, there's a ton of different energies and entities that are vibrating and pulsating in a multitude of different ways, right? And the one thing that I can absolutely see is the fear that is attached to religions based in Christendom.
Facts.
And because of that fear, any talk about anything occult related, it's like, oh no, like that's bad business, that's bad juju, and you can't even have a conversation. Meanwhile, like the whole Olympics thing is going on where these motherfuckers is doing the most.
But it's always the most. It's one of the biggest rituals in the world and always has been.
But this is what I understand that. You understand that. But it's to these people who just refused, like, let's say if I or you present a conversation in regards to marketing to say, all right, your brand represents XYZ. Maybe you should use the color orange because it represents this, and this on a scientific level, on a metaphysical level, on a psychological level. Like, I have seen in some instances where there has been fear attached to that, to where it's like the person is shut down to where like, no, that's too close to occultism, while simultaneously not questioning anything that they just seen on the Olympics. Like those like that.
And this is it. But see, I think
bro.
Is that there's a level of theatrics that will allow. You feel what I'm saying? As far as the major society will. As far as whether we talk about television, whether we talk about even going to theater.
Theater? Theater? Are you speaking of theater?
There's this aspect of things where it's like, damn, is we really gonna just let that slide because it was on TV in the movie? It's still the highest rated show, and out of the highest rated shows have some of the most fucked up concepts, but they're revealing the trauma that we have and that we deal with.
Bro, there's a lot of YouTube videos and content that you can see about men and women at odds, and specifically in the melanated community, right? So I seen something yesterday, I think I don't know, Hodge twins or somebody, I don't know, I forgot. Maybe it was MTR talking about like basically on TikTok they've censored, and even here on YouTube, like they've censored any content that's around MGTOW, men going their own way. There's a very conscientious effort for men to not be able to speak their mind, and specifically for them to go along with the PC narratives that are propagated.
You don't want to raise too many generals.
No, absolutely. You definitely don't want. You definitely don't want representations of beings like us representing a counter narrative of what we're supposed to be. Mm-hmm. Downtrodden, dysfunctional leeches of society.
Because that breaks the reality that they're trying to say. Like, even when you look at, I heard somebody say something, I was like, driving Uber, you learn and you meet a lot of different people. When I was driving Uber, I met a lot of people from out of the country. And he said, and everybody I met from out of the country was surprised at how well-spoken I was and educated I was because of the idea that they're given of American young black men. And it's like, but the same thing goes counterpart for how we view certain countries and the situations that we're shown that they live in compared to the reality of it. And so the more you analyze that, you have to be a person that goes to see for self.
Yes, this is true.
You have to.
I've been to 40 different countries, bro, and I was just having this conversation with the homie KYD earlier about when you go to different countries, most countries understand American pop culture. They don't understand the reality of what the day-to-day nuances are in America. In Greece, I hopped in a taxi cab in Athens, and the first thing the cab driver asked me was like, "Is it true that you could be walking down the street in America and somebody could walk up to you and shoot you in the face?" And I was like, what? Like, bro, what?
What kind of trenches do you think we live in?
Bruh, I'm like, what? Like, how big America is? I'm like, it threw me aback, but I understood where the question was coming from.
Yeah, for sure.
And immediately what I said to him was, well, in Greece, there's places that people have told me that I shouldn't go to because I can get stabbed. I was like, now, I don't know if that's true, but I can ask you to take me there right now and drop me off. Like, let's go there right now. What do you think? And he started getting defensive, and he was like, what, you really want to go there right now? I was talking about like the North and the Greeks. I was like, yeah, why not? I've never been there. It was like midnight, bro. I was like, yeah, why not? I was like, people telling me that I can get stabbed there. just by walking around in the street. So I shouldn't go. So let's see if that happens. Let's see if you drop me off on the corner if I get stabbed when I get out the taxi. What do you think is going to happen? What are the probabilities? He's like, well, people aren't like that here. And I was like, oh, so it's kind of insane just to think somebody's going to come up to you and have a random act of violence because you're just walking on the street minding your own business, right?
Not logical.
No, it's not logical, bro. I was like, when you put yourself in situations, I was like, now, of course, I don't want you to take me there because it's midnight. But if it was noon, yeah, you can take me there and drop me off. Because it's a difference. It's situational awareness. So anywhere can be dangerous. It just depends on your situational awareness and your ability to discern enemy combatants.
And how you need to move accordingly.
That's it, bro. That's it.
I think it's
really understanding, especially nowadays, that most people lead with a very passive aggressive stance. So people are very comfortable with pretending like they like you for whatever agenda they have until they achieve it.
That's what I was just about to get into. The language that people use as, like you said, passive aggressive. You have this tendency for people to maneuver in a way that's disingenuous naturally. It's like they don't even realize that they're being disingenuous because of their desire to achieve whatever goal they see that you are connected to.
Facts. I seen a post the other day. It said, a narcissist is more willing to watch you struggle and then help a stranger. And, this is just from my observation that specifically as melanated beings in the US of A, most of us suffer from some level of narcissism because that narcissism is a byproduct of trauma.
Facts.
And when you're traumatized, you develop a shell to where you create a reality of reasons and justifications to present as a victim.
I can agree with that.
And that's where that inferiority complex type deals come into play, and really just an overall lack of accountability to where now crabs in the bucket collectively we can all say, well, we might as well not even try. Look, it's fucked up for everybody.
Yeah. And that mindset justifies it. Go ahead.
Mindset, right? So mindset is toxic. It's mental health at its, like a lack of mental health at its finest. This is what this project is here to represent: is us as melanated masterpieces in all our glory that are not a monolith, that exist outside of any narrative that most people even quite fucking frankly imagine. And this is really where I go back to going to 40 different countries, bro. You know how many people have walked up on me, treating me like Mickey Mouse at fucking Disney World? Like literally, like little blonde haired girls trying to take my lid, like, can I take a picture with you? Like, you know what I'm saying? As if, this is before selfies and Instagram. You get me?
Yeah.
Like, this is like, let me show my mom type shit. Like, it's like I'm a leprechaun. So, and, a lot of that is promoted because I was explaining in a conversation before, what we don't understand is like all that ratchet ass reality TV show stuff that we be watching here, like the pilot series, the B-rated and the C-rated and the D-rated versions of those shits that didn't make it, those motherfuckers get shipped overseas.
Oh yeah, and they go big.
Yeah.
The Tubi movies,
and that's the representation of us.
Somewhere. The Tubi movies is going crazy out the country somewhere.
Bruh. That's the representation of us, bro. Snow on the bluff type shit. You know what I'm saying? So, it's next to impossible to compete with media, with people taking reality from their device.
Yeah. People that lack discernment of truth and the difference between, like you said, like understand even media. Like going back to what I was saying earlier, the whole idea of like these words mean gods. Media was the god of manipulation, I believe, in that sort.
Hold on. We're gonna have to dig into that exactly. We're gonna take a quick commercial break from our sponsor, and we're gonna talk about that. Media, the etymology of media. Let's look at that. This episode of 25 to Lifestyle Sense to Thrive is brought to you by Commercial Universe, a brand that is merging mental health with merch for you, you melanated masterpiece. Commercial Universe Boutique has all types of different designs. You can support this brand, 25 to Lifestyle, by buying some of the branded merch to help us get out the word. Also, we got some just super fly designs that convey let's say a position of positivity that you can embody as well as reflect. Gratitude is grace. Got this guy or this girl for the ladies. Freestyle. Dope bags if you are into traveling or you want to show up to the gym and flex in more ways than one. Back to school type shit right here. That's this design right here. This lady here is typing the word shit, type shit. It's, something cool that the kids are saying nowadays. This is Daydreams backpack. Carnival Crispy. Man, you got to go check this one out right here. This one is super fire. And in case you didn't know, I am that guy. So this is Commercial Universe Boutique. And you're more than welcome to shop and support. We will put the website and the ticker right there. So you go check that out while we talk about the etymology of media. I'm going to look it up.
I had to look something up too. I had to make sure it's not manipulation, it's illusion. She's the goddess of illusion from Greek mythology. Yes, I'm gonna read that one. I'm gonna let you see. I'm gonna see what you come up with when you look.
Okay, media, noun. Newspaper, radio, TV, etc. Perhaps abstracted from mass media. 1923, a technical term in advertising, plural of medium, as intermediate agency, a sense attested in English. Okay.
I like the word medium and intermediate. What was that? What was the term after media that just said intermediate?
Intermediate agency.
Agency. Those two things are important.
Medium. Hold on, let's look at 1580s, medium. A middle ground quality or degree, that which holds a middle place or position. From Latin medium, the middle, midst, center, interval. Noun, use of neuter of adjective medius, in the middle, between, from, the middle. Many of the secondary senses are via the notion of intervening substance through which a force of quality is conveyed. An intermediate agency, channel of communication from the former via application to air, come to sense of one's environment or condition. A print publication. In spiritualism, media Person who conveys spiritual messages. And painting in reference to oil. As in, what type of medium are you using to paint? Mm. Now, as far as the Greek mythology ties, I'll let you take it away and share what you found or what you know about that.
One big thing that you hear a lot of people talk about when they talk about media is they always talk about the goddess of illusion and the concept of how what we see as modern day media is a representation of this illusion embodied through an industry. And what's interesting about that, going to the 2 points that you just gave, as far as a medium or I keep forgetting the terminology for the second one, but it's the same concept. There's almost this thing that carries this illusion. And so when I think about media and the goddess of illusion, I think that what we're seeing is the feminine energy is a way to display a thing in a light that she sees it, in a perspective that she sees it, or whatever's guiding this energy sees it. And so a big thing that I think about when I see the media is that you have to always realize that everything is marketing, it's propaganda. They're always pushing a certain set of ideas or even a certain mood or tone that comes from the script that's acted out in the actual media itself that creates this energy and brings it and makes it something that people relate to, tag on to, and then begin to believe as a reality. You're still muted, boss.
So no, it's well said. It's definitely all about marketing. You don't go outside your house without being subconsciously or even directly marketed to buy or purchase something. And this is literally, the conversation that KYD and I were having on live earlier, where we were talking about, people now really have to make a conscientious decision online, specifically when it comes to social media. Are you a consumer or a producer? That's just it, period. End of statement, full stop.
That's literally the conversation me and my bro are always having. Like, bro, one of my biggest goals with the Players Collective is to get our community out of the mindset of being consumers and into the mindset of being producers. Because if we stop depending on the system that we claim we're tired of, then we could actually get somewhere. We were producing our own goods, producing our own food, hell, building our own houses, cutting down our own trees, building neighborhoods, villages, and communities ourselves, and having people that own these things through their different businesses and things that we have going on, and create a real network that actually works. We could get somewhere. But as long as we're just buying other people's creations, this is not going to work.
They might be you. So the analogy that I was given earlier is right now, specifically as melanated business owners, we haven't broke the program of autonomy being the road to success. When you watch a movie, there's hundreds, if not 1,000 people in the credits that it took to make that work of art something that could be monetizable. Same goes for music. When you purchase, we used to purchase CDs or cassettes, they would have a multitude of people's names in the cover that it took to produce individual tracks as well as the whole LP. So all works of art, when it comes to monetization, takes a conglomerate of people. It's just that within today's society, we've been taught autonomy at all costs, and social media has enabled us to create these echo chambers to where we can, they trick us into believing we can create success on our own, but it's only under their umbrella, which means you have limitations. And really, it really means that if you do have some success, it's because they're allowing you to for a very specific reason.
Because they're benefiting from your success.
Uh-oh.
I think that's the part that we miss is too often on the way to success, especially in our community, in believing that we can shortcut our way to it. We don't realize who's feeding off of our win.
Bro, there's no way to cheat. There's no way to cheat building brand identity and brand awareness. Period. You can't cheat that.
Me and my bros is talking about it. You know how as soon as you start getting a little traction on your page, there's this influx of scam or not scam pages that's, hey, I can get you this many followers. Hey, I can get you this much engagement. Hey, we can do this, this, and that. And it's like,
that's 70% of my message traffic every day.
Me those numbers. What authenticity does it have?
Now, quote me if I'm wrong. Did I not tell you that was going to happen like about 4 or 5 months ago?
Yeah, you did. We had already had the conversation.
Did I tell you like specifically that as new entrepreneurs, that's what people don't understand, that 60 to 70% of their message traffic is trying to figure out what offers to entertain? Like that shit is real, bro. And especially because like literally, this is all the conversation we were just having earlier. When it comes to $50 here or $100 here or $300 here, you know, so the wrong person might convince you to spend that money, and you know it could have been better suited using it towards something else. But ain't no getting that back. That's just a learning experience.
Yeah, and I ain't gonna lie. Like I did promo for so long, and I'm from growing up in Atlanta, bro. It's like the cap. It's so much cap, bro. You know cap when you see cap. And I ain't gonna lie to you, I don't deal with nobody I don't know in real life past a certain point. If we can't have a face-to-face conversation like real human beings, something about the Southerner in me, we can't talk.
I need to talk to you. I need to talk to you, and I also need to see your body of work. Like you got a portfolio, something other than a bunch of ideas.
It'd be bad. Social media is horrible. And it's like, it's so bad because it's like, where do the genuine people thrive at? Like, is there a space for that, or has that died out in modern society, or is it far in between?
But that's where I was getting to, like, you know, people being conditioned to think autonomy is the road to success. Meanwhile, everybody's regurgitating the same thing. And the analogy that I gave is like earlier is, you know, it's like 5 people all living in the same house, got 2 TVs, and everybody's paying for their own Netflix subscription.
You just foolish.
It's you know, we can see that echoed in melanated community with 3 barbershops being on the same block.
Yep.
So, you know, we dilute our own talent, which in the etymology of talent is weight, right? We dilute our own talent by not pooling together our resources, which is our time and energy and our efforts.
I can say one of my most frustrating points in life right now is the state of dance, bro. Like, even looking at the Olympics again, like the way that it seemed like we can't come together to agree on what is and isn't good, who does and doesn't deserve to be a part of the community, how we could work together to grow as a community. It's one of the most crab in the barrel things I see. Everybody fighting for gigs, fighting to work with this artist, fighting to do this and that. And it's like, bro, if we just made our own dope visuals and I came up with our own performances and put together some bread and rented out a studio and put together a show and sold some tickets, we wouldn't have to deal with.
That's it. And that's why I'm always talking about, like, that group dynamic specifically and how it relates to, you know, what it takes to make a movie. Yeah, like, that's a conglomerate of people, and the meat and potatoes is done by 2 to 7 people, you know, a year in advance before the other people we even hire.
Yeah, you got to know where to place people.
Yeah, bro, it's just understanding processes and really levels of money. So if I'm gonna shoot a television commercial, right, I can go for a local ice cream person, or I can go for a brand deal with a car manufacturer, to where I'm shooting the commercials for all the dealers in a regional area. Like, I'm still making a commercial for both entities, but those budgets are grossly different.
For sure.
And the way you present those budgets or present that work to get those budgets are grossly different. And usually, yeah, because that scope of work is going to be determined by the amount of people that you have to complete it. I can do an ice cream commercial by myself and ask for $10,000, and that's not like outlandish. But now I can't go to Audi by myself and ask for $600,000 to shoot 4 commercials for 3 of their dealerships by myself. They're gonna be looking at me like, "What are you talking about?
How?
Who
gonna drive the car while you shoot?"
That part. So it's how you have to present it, and that's where, being a consumer versus being a producer is really understanding the mechanisms that you are a slave to day to day. And most of that is tied to comfort. And this is where I'm asking people self-audit right now. And I already know you representing, you got your own gear on right now.
Got to.
I got my own gear on right now.
Working.
So back to the opening statement, as melanated people in America, we are a slave to the rhetoric, to the point where our whole existence is a contradiction, to the point where you have people who are saying that they're conscious by greeting each other with Grand Rising, but simultaneously identifying as Black. Do you see why that's problematic?
For a lot of reasons, actually. Me personally, I find it problematic because it's like, pick a side. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are you really vying for? Because in the process of Grand Rising and that whole shift of people saying Grand Rising, it's supposed to be a process of breaking us out of the linguistic spell that we've been under over the last couple of years. And if you gonna do that and still label yourself as Black, which means dead, how? It just don't really. You're saying you're having a grand rising, and the purpose of not saying good morning is to get rid of this concept of mourning or death out of your rising life or your waking. It just don't add up. You're really putting 2 things together that are opposite.
Contradiction, no? Conflicted in thought.
Conflicting interests.
Bruh. What? These are just my observations. this is not a hill I came to die on. These are just my observations. If you feel some type of way, put it in the comments. If you understand and this resonates, spread the word, because we have to really understand what we're saying, and we can't just be out here just talking, man.
Facts.
Can be out here, especially now that there's more of us who are breaking out of our inferiority complex by throwing our hat in the rings as content creators, because you can't have an inferiority complex and put yourself in a public eye. Those 2 things can't exist.
They're gonna tell you every time.
So there's people who are breaking out of their shell, and you might as well just go ahead and put your foot on the gas. Ain't no easy way to get into it, and use this as a topical discussion. Because it's one that I think needs to be analyzed, and it's only going to happen if there's more voices to talk about it.
For sure.
So that was a nice little moment. We can take a little commercial break and come back And we just talk about some cliches and being a slave to rhetoric and how they might be you. I appreciate everybody tapping into this episode of 25 to Lifestyle. They might be you. And we are back. 25 to Lifestyle, Sentence to Thrive, a documentary miniseries for melanated men to have a safe space and articulate how they view themselves as a success, in contrast to what society says success is, all for the purpose of creating positive propaganda for the youth under the age of 25. Because, they need visual representation that melanated masterpieces exist outside of being celebrities and athletes. We're doctors, lawyers, scientists, engineers, artists, innovators, overall co-creators of this existence. And we should be acknowledged as such for our own mental health's sake, as well as yours. Because you need to be living in a sense of reality and know who the fuck you dealing with.
What he said, and nothing more, and nothing less. Oh man. We're going.
But other than that, what else? Hold on, let me cue some music real quick. So being a slave to rhetoric, what does that mean? It means not really thinking your own thoughts. And even if you are thinking your own thoughts, being fearful to express what those thoughts are. You'd rather repackage a thought that is comfortable in nature for the receiver to ingest. All for fucking likability. That's where social media comes in. That damn like button. You got people like, my son's mom said to me one time, it's like, people don't even like you. And I was like, I'm fucking 40. Like, what? What do you mean? Like, I've lived enough life on Earth to know that a melanated man's presence is tolerated more than it is celebrated. And I've created a t-shirt designed because of it. It says indifferent to indifference. I don't got nothing to do with that. I am that I am. So how you perceive it from your vantage point is indifferent to me. And going back to earlier where we were just talking about traveling globally and just having that global perception, it's important for one to know what that means for oneself outside of specifically what you've been brought up in. So how do you know anything else other than the narrative that's been told to you via the media?
Yeah, I don't know. That's a big thing me and my bro was just talking about, because it's like me and him kind of come from different backgrounds, but it's like he understands the information that I talk about, whereas I seek it. And it's like, he like, bro, how did you even get into that space? And I'm like, when I ask questions. Can
you expound on that?
Okay, for instance, like, you know how some people, they get into the conscious space and they're scholars of the conscious space. They truly understand everything that goes on in these layers of the reality and the different languages and different modalities and practices that go along with that. And then you have those people that see these things and are aware of these things, but they don't understand the verbiage that goes along with it. They're just aware of it through analyzation of their environment and being critical thinkers at a certain level. You see what I'm saying? So basically,
they're not practitioners.
Yeah, they're not practitioners. They're not adepts. They're not scholars of these things. And so what I realize is that a lot of the time, I don't believe that people understand that the rhetoric they were given should have been questioned. You know, I'm a firm believer that at some point in your life, you should sit down and say, hey, why do I believe what I believe? And go back and see if it makes sense. If you don't do that for yourself, if you're not self-analyzing or refining your ideas that you base things on, then you'll become stagnant and you won't grow. So for me, I think I used to believe that it was innate for people to want to grow and know more. As I get older, I don't know. I'm not sure.
No, it's not. I actually wrote a poem about it a long time ago. I forgot what it's called. I'll find it and read it next time. But yeah, no, it's not a thing, bro. Everybody doesn't have that same inner monologue that drives them to be better, to self-correct. Everybody doesn't have that. And that's part of discernment. To me, from my observation, is knowing when you are set apart to have a level of awareness to know who is and who isn't on a journey.
Yeah.
Because it's not even about what part of the journey are you on, because some people aren't on a journey at all. They just here.
They haven't set a course.
Yeah, bro. And you have to, especially now, you got to treat these type of people accordingly. Because, who knows, right?
I've learned to give all people grace and space. You understand me? So I feel like you have to be able to understand that, like you said, that some people aren't on the journey at all. And that's why I like the idea of the path. It's interesting because my episode tomorrow is going to be on the path through the tree of life. And whether you look at the tarot and the major arcana, you look at the zodiac, or you look at the typical American life, or what is perceived to be that, there are cycles within that at some point require you to sit down and grow, or you just restart at the beginning again, and you get back into that cycle, and you go through the same lessons again to see if you catch on, So you gotta have gratitude, because gratitude is grace.
Yes. Gratitude is showing grace. Gratitude is grace. Literally, on an etymology level, it's the same word. Oh, no. Same word.
Yeah.
Yes, the beat said it. Man, I really appreciate you coming through and dropping gems and sharing your insight. And if you'd like to tell the people what you got going on and how they can support you, more than welcome.
And, like you said earlier, founder of the Players Collective, Players Collective Marketplace.shop. Yes, come check out the merch. We got that going on. New collection coming soon. Mainly right now, I am doing a podcast under Against the Narrative, which is produced by the Players Collective. It's a podcast blog I'm running, and I'm teaching the Tree of Life. We're going through the 10 Sephirot first episode. We're going through the 22 paths tomorrow, and I'm just breaking down some of these symbolisms and figuring out how we can break some of this deeper knowledge to the community in a way that might help them better navigate through the world.
That's interesting. It's definitely, I think, as part of one spiritual journey, whatever that means to whoever hears this, part of it is understanding that no one owns information. And all information can be misused, good, bad, or indifferent. But also not being ignorant to the fact that there is specific information that is used and designed for nefarious use. So, it's like warfare, right? Everybody's always talking about spiritual warfare. What does that mean? Well, I can tell you what it means in regular warfare. It means knowing weaponry your enemy is equipped with.
You got to know what tools they got in order to stop it.
Bro, I'm not about to show up with a bow and arrows if you got mortars and grenades and machine guns. Like, I need to know what your weaponry looks like, not necessarily so I can use it, but I need to know how to counter.
I need to know where its power comes from.
Yeah, or disengage it, or nullify it. Whatever that looks like.
Like you say in warfare, how do I cut off your supply? How do I starve your castle? How?
So what else? Well, we'll just be here figuring out life for y'all every time we come on. Tap in, you're more than welcome. We're here and we're building, and there's a mixed multitude of us, specifically online, who have a myriad of different talents and expertise. And I can really see where, it's just a matter of time before we can collectively figure it out and, get 6, 7, 8, 9, 11 of us all on the same page to do one thing at one time. And it'll be unstoppable, undeniable. Like, it's very close.
We getting there.
We're getting there, man. Everybody's busy.
Everybody getting in position. I feel like everybody getting in position, man. I feel
that's it.
Once everybody in that right position, everybody comfortable in what they got going on, and everybody set up, and they really ready to press that button.
Everybody busy, setting up.
Yep.
Setting up. Setting up. I get it. Trust me. Loading your own arsenal. Take an inventory of your arsenal. How many shots can I let off?
Being aware of your skill.
I myself am a marksman. Don't hold that against me. I will not be on nobody's bell tower. I promise.
Thanks.
Man, a lady when I was in college, she tried to infer that, bro. They set me up, really. They set me up for the okie doke and really forced me to take student loans. And the day that she was signing me up for them, she was very snarky and made it her business to let me know that she had looked into my military background. She was like, "Oh yeah, I know you're a marksman." And I just kind of like looked, and I was like, "Oh yeah, why would you know that?" And she was like, "Oh well, yeah, I looked into your background just to make sure, I'm not worried if you're going to be on top of anybody's like car garage or something." I was like, "Oh, okay, I see you just a whole asshole." Okay.
I see everybody experiences their own version of that. We don't really want you hear conversation when getting into some of these institutions.
Bro, that's what this whole platform and project represents, bro, is the mental health aspect of what it actually means for a melanated man to step out into any aspect of the workforce and attempt to be seen as an equal. On site, it's shenanigans.
Facts.
Am I lying?
Oh no, I could tell you a story about the conversation I had when I walked into admissions office for my first couple of years in engineering school. What they told me, based off of what they thought was going to be my results.
On site, it's shenanigans, bro.
At the admissions office, I ain't even get to register for class yet.
I believe it, bro.
You know,
they be on that maniacal shit, bro. Like on that, literally, like indoctrinated. Like they are indoctrinated in how they talk to you.
Facts.
They don't know no other way how to talk to you. I had the dean of my school, bro, call me into his office because I was having an issue with one of the professors, this little pompous little 5x5 motherfucker, and at the same time, I was interviewing for this position in the equipment room because, I was one of the only melanated filmmakers, and they made it really, really hard to get equipment. So I was like, well, let me go ahead and try to work for the equipment room, so at least I know when shit is available.
Facts.
So, I come dressed, suited and booted, and the dean is looking at my resume and looking at it says Pentagon on there, and it says like my security clearance. And then he kicks back in his chair, bro, literally, puts his foot up and says, well, if you could, in your own words, could you explain to me what this security clearance means? And I was like, well, it's on my resume, so yeah, I can describe it to you, but it's on a need to know basis, and you weren't read into nothing that I'm familiar with, so I don't know what to tell you. It means what it means. The thing that I can tell you that maybe you can understand is, how in the movies when they say things are top secret, it's kind of like that. This motherfucker sat up in his chair, bro. Oh, wait a minute. All right, what did you just say? Type shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, bitch, you heard me. Who the fuck you think you talking to? You reading my resume. Of course I know what's on it and I can explain to you. Am I interviewing you or are you interviewing me? Because right now you don't even seem qualified to be asking me questions right now.
Not them type of questions.
Do I know what a security clearance? No, obviously you don't. You want me to explain to you why it's on my resume. Because you don't know exactly what that means. or you in disbelief of who the fuck you talking to. That part.
Yeah. That should be the next conversation.
Bruh. That's what I'm here to represent is, when I say how melanated men view themselves as a success in contrast to what society says is a success, because the accolades that society says that people should shoot for, that shit don't apply to us. We can rack up all the wins and trophies we want to, bro. It don't matter. It don't matter. I literally got links. I can show you a whole trophy case. Anything that'll satisfy your due diligence. But if you're not even willing to put me in the category of worthy of doing due diligence, because that's really what it boiled down to. Most people see us as on some scam shit first before they're really willing to dive deeper into what the actual product or service is that we provide. And that's, like I said, that's an indoctrination. That's a program.
Yeah.
That's an ill brand.
It's an assumption.
Yes. Based on an ill brand. That's what propaganda is branded us in a negative way to where it really challenges people's dissonance to see us in something other than what they've seen via the media.
So before I disappear out of the little bit of light I got left, how would you feel like we best combat that?
Man, hold on one second. I'm gonna show you right now. Hold on. So, only thing I can do is lead by example, right? And I am documenting my progress in this social experiment, through video and also through design. And understanding that how you dress and the style that you present represents some modicum of your personality and sometimes belief system. So teaching and, being able to reflect sentiments within clothing just kind of makes sense to me. So this is a basketball jersey, player 1.
You keep
And
doing hard shit, bro.
on the front, it says presence over presentation. So to answer your question is collectively, we need to learn how to value the leaders who are present versus the ones who are being presented. Because what I'm finding is, I've been doing this social experiment for about 4 to 5 years now, actively online, specifically to showcase how people are more willing to steal and run off with the things that I'm suggesting versus to join in and assist me in building it. And that's a program. Because as melanated men, we have been branded as in service of to everyone first.
I'm still seeing party ideas I came up with getting thrown that I don't get called about anymore.
Bruh.
It's just like, bro.
Bro, I got real-time situations right now, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, this shit is real out here, bro. Like my whole business is predicated on branding and the protection of intellectual property for a reason.
Yeah.
And, this is really where I'm attempting to teach us as melanated entrepreneurs the importance of that, specifically through media. Because if you don't understand it, it's used against you, especially when it comes to pay-to-play mechanisms. So another way to answer your question is we need to learn how to trust in each other's experience and lack thereof. And, this is where that whole conception of age don't matter, specifically that's being propagated in the spiritual community, is fucking bogus.
Yeah.
Where age comes wisdom and experience, especially in the business lane. If I've been doing business for 20 years and you've been doing it for 2, you can best believe I got some things I can teach you. And that's just common sense. That's not ego. That's not nothing. That's not nobody trying to little bro you. Nobody trying to son you. That's just, okay, give me the game or give me some game, especially if I'm willing to share it. And not only is it being in the position to want to receive the game, is having a positive intent to do something with it collectively, not just run off with it.
Facts. I spent a lot of time with older people growing up, and just one thing I learned: if you want to know the truth, talk to somebody that's been around the way for a while. Don't ask the young guy that just now seeing, trying to figure out what's going on.
Bro, I mean, especially in our community, bro, like, within our generations, we were talking about, I was raised by the silent generation, my grandparents. Their children, my mom is the baby boomers. I'm Generation X. And right now, millennials are in the driver's seat when it comes to capitalizing and monetizing things on social media. But they're competing with Gen Z, who is on some other shit. Like, they on the counter shit of what millennials are on.
Yeah, for sure.
And what I'm finding is right now, as Generation X, like, we're like, I don't even know how to describe the position, bro. It's like, referees.
Hey, that's all right though. I've been saying I'm kind of in the millennial space, but I got an older mindset. So I've been saying that it's a bridge generation. Like, it's a group of us that's like, hey, look, bro, I get where y'all coming from, because that would have been me had I had a little bit less morals. But I really understand that it's some shit that the old head got going on that you missing out on because you moving too fast. You know what I'm saying? And it's hard to explain that.
It's like, as a referee, in the middle of the game, it's hard for me to explain to you why you should pressure the ball as soon as the point guard crosses half court. I'm gonna start counting to 5. I can't describe that to you in a referee. I can't teach you that in the game.
You're supposed to know that already.
You're supposed to know that already. So when like I said, when it comes to entrepreneurship, like this is where I kind of see myself as a referee, knowing the rules of the game and understanding and watching, people stand in the key for 3 seconds.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
In the middle of the game, like, bro, like, I don't know if you should be in the game right now, bro. Like, I can't teach you why you shouldn't be doing this. Like,
that race to entrepreneurship is looking ugly for a lot of people.
And bro, that's what I'm talking. And that's where, especially on Instagram, most of the flack that I get is from the people that I'm telling, like, hey, bro, you can't just stand in the key. And they like, who the fuck is you to tell me, bro? And I'm like, all right, flag on the, like, what the fuck you want me to do, bro? Like, I'm gonna keep blowing the whistle. Like, I'm trying to tell you, dumbass, get the fuck out the paint.
Yeah, that's facts though.
Oh yeah, that is definitely a direct analogy for stop using Instagram solely to promote your aspirations, goals, and dreams.
Facts. You're missing out on more than half of your money. And half of your
man. Yeah, that's a whole nother topic for a whole nother discussion. But yeah, man, I appreciate this one. This was a good one.
Appreciate you having me, boss.
Yeah, anytime, man. This is Day Might Be You. If you're gonna say Grand Rising, just stop identifying as Black, please. Thank you. Just, please. I mean, please. It's just small ask. I think maybe just look into it.
Think about it a little bit. You might catch something.
Even. Peace.
Generations of men who have come from broken homes that long to have children of their own for the sole purpose of righting wrongs. We never hear their songs. Deaf and numb, society circus sees this plight as worthless, never providing a space for them to belong. Even worse is the fact predators feast off their pain, empathy in vain. Claims of you deserve this gaslit into their memory banks. It's time to break ranks, draw lines, define what is true. More men are afflicted by the system, born into a narrative they didn't choose. Redundant hues of blue. The only thing toxic is the news. Unplug.